Bolt your windows. Lock your doors. Check your closets. Look under your bed. And then prepare yourself. For it's another episode of Dark Knight of the Podcast. Whoa!
Well, good evening, Roger, my brand new Midwest buddy. How are you?
Welcome back home. You can try to escape the Midwest, but my God, you can never get away. It's in your blood.
You can never get away, that is for sure. It's been an interesting last few weeks trying to readjust to slower-paced Iowa life after being in Houston for 12 years, but I am getting there. I actually started my job. I've gotten to see my new school, meet my new colleagues. So it's been pretty interesting. And the weather, Roger, the weather here hasn't been too hot. So guess what I really haven't thought about doing?
Taking a cool dip in the sea. Because there's no sea around you. Aren't you just landlocked everywhere you are?
There's the Mississippi right like 2 blocks from me.
Is the Mississippi something you can like swim in? Is it available? Is there like a beach by you?
There is actually, but I would not step foot in
it. Kind of like Lake Erie.
Yeah,
I get it. We're on the same page.
But I was thinking more along the lines of a pool.
Oh yes. Oh, how did that go over my head? It didn't go over my head. I completely was aware of the joke. But yes, a pool.
The pool. It's
the only pool.
It's the only pool in.
But what a pool it is! I mean, like, this is a pool. If we're jumping in, and we're jumping into the pool. We're jumping right in, obviously, literally and figuratively, into the pool, which is the title of the film that you, Troy, picked for our episode of Dark Knight of the Podcast this week.
Yes, and it seems to be a popular pick based on our social media response, which I was surprised. I mean, I told you last week that I knew a lot of people knew of this film, but I didn't. I was surprised at the amount of people that responded to our Facebook and Instagram post about this film. So I knew, I kind of knew it had a little bit of a fan base, but after last week's deep film, Don't Look Now, which required several viewings to really take in and really analyze, I wanted something that was a little bit more just popcorny.
Oh, and popcorny it is.
That was kind of, you could just sit back and enjoy. You really didn't have to think about. So I did choose 2001's The Pool, which is a post-Scream slasher flick, and boy does it show that it was influenced by Scream.
Oh golly. Well, I mean, I've been chomping on the bit to bust this one out, but there's nothing deep about the pool.
No, not even the pool itself, because they're in the pool and it comes up to their waist no matter where they're at in the whole pool. So the pool itself isn't deep, but yeah, the film is not that deep, but it has a lot of redeeming qualities. And we'll get to them. I think it does. Now, I have to admit, when I first saw this probably back in 2001 when it came out, I was like, oh my God, that's a kick-ass movie. What a kick-ass movie. This time around, I wasn't as gung-ho about it. So I'm really curious about the people who kind of have a fond memory of this film and haven't seen it for a long time. I'm wondering if they went back and revisited it. What their impressions would be. I still had a great time with it, but I'm going to say it wasn't as great as I remember thinking it was, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm a first time
You're a pool virgin.
I'm a first time swim. Yeah, I'm diving into the deep end. Completely blind, had no idea what to expect, and I'll say I enjoyed it. Do I think it's the best thing I've ever seen? Absolutely not. Does it need to be? No. It's called the fucking pool. Like, I mean, and it serves up really what it's offering in its title. But yeah, I mean, the similarities between it and, as you said, Scream are very noticeable. It was obviously cashing in on the moment, and a little late into the moment at that. But it is extremely entertaining. It falls hard into some of the very familiar tropes that we've seen time and time again. But you know what? It does them pretty well. This ain't, we're not reinventing the wheel here, people.
And this film was not trying to reinvent the wheel. I think what this film was really trying to give us was a no holds bar slasher film that took place in a very creative location. And I've said this before, I'm all about slasher films that take place in really fun locations.
Oh yes.
I love, like Hide and Go Shriek in the furniture store, Intruder, grocery store, gutter balls, a bowling alley,
amusement park, in an amusement park.
Yeah, I love all of that. So I having a film that's set inside of a beautiful indoor water park facility, because even though the film's called The Pool, this thing is more like a indoor water park. I mean, it has water slides, it has all kinds of stuff.
It strikes me as like a pool for very rich people in a rich area. Like, whereas like I grew up in the suburbs and we had like a pool that had like 2 water slides and was outside and open 4 months out of the year. This is like a pool for very wealthy people. Access 24/7. Well, not 24/7, but they make sure they get in there. But, at all times. And it's indoors and it's heated and it's beautiful and it has stunning decor and everything. Fountains.
I grew up and I'm back in Davenport, Iowa. So if this film took place in Davenport, Iowa, it would be called Wacky Waters, because that was our pool park.
Wacky
so
fucking waters.
Maybe folks, that's my next film, Wacky Waters.
Whoa! Sounds like a cheap porn, Wacky Waters.
This film, 2002. It's from Germany, and one of the things you'll notice right away about this film is the cast is very diverse in terms of language, countries that they each represent.
Not in skin tone. They're certainly not diverse.
They're not diverse in skin tone, but they are
this is a very pale
cast, but it is diverse in terms of languages spoken and the European countries that are represented. And let's just get it right out of the way here. I mean, this film has 2 pretty big stars in it. People that went on two actors that really went on to make a name for themselves. The first one, obviously, is James McAvoy.
Yes, we love James
McAvoy. This is one of his first films, and he is definitely giving us that heavy Irish accent, which is sexy as fuck.
Oh my God. And he is definitely one of the standout actors in this film. Nobody in this is truly horrible. I mean, there are a few actors who I think are maybe a little stronger than others, but he would definitely be one of like the top tier performers in this, who actually has to show at times some emotion due to his character going through a breakup, as you'll learn.
And then what happens to him, I was kind of like, oh, that's a cop out. And the other one is Isla Fisher, who is probably best known for Wedding Crashers.
She was also in that goddamn movie, Confessions of a Shopaholic, which wanted to be a big breakout, but it was not. I feel like Isla Fisher in general wants to be a big breakout, but is not. I'm not her biggest fan.
She needs to do something about that voice. At least in this film, I almost shut the volume off. I did not realize that she had such a whiny, nasally voice. I'm sorry, Isla, but I was like, oh God, shut her up. And she is so unlikable in this film. I really wanted to reach through the screen and just slap her.
She looks like, she's often compared to Amy Adams, but in this film she looks as though Amy Adams had been on like a bender for 3 weeks. Like, she looks weathered in this movie. I don't know if Isla Fisher was maybe going through a rough time when she was trying to break out at the time she was filming this, but definitely not in her prime. And her acting's fine, but her character is awful, and she's just such a bitch. Just one more character to add to the list of characters that I don't like that were played by Isla Fisher, which are
I
many.
like her. I mean, I think she's hilarious in Wedding Crashers. Is that the film I'm thinking of? She's in Wedding Crashers.
She is,
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think she's hilarious in that. I love her in that. It's not. I don't have a problem with her personally. I have a problem with this character, and I don't. And again, I don't remember her voice being so annoying. I don't know if it was for this film, but it was unbearable. Thank God she doesn't last long, because if she would have made it to the pool, I would have packed up my swim trunks and left.
Yes, which really is not a lot to pack up, so you'd be out of
A
there.
little Speedo.
T-bar.
But the film is a German film, German production, directed by a German Boris van Sykowski, I believe is the name.
You don't get more German than that.
Anybody that's named Boris. I mean, that is like the quintessential German.
Yeah.
The direction's fine. The film looks great.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it had a pretty hefty budget behind it. But let's get to it, because there's really not much else to talk about this week, is there? Except I'm going to say it now before we wait, because I feel like people tune us out at the end and just after they know we're done talking about the movie, shut us off. But folks, I know there's lots of you listening. I look at our statistics and I have to say I am very, very happy that our listenership grows each week. And I'm serious.
Yes.
I can't believe it. I can't believe people actually tune in to listen to us chat about films, because who are we? I mean, but it's cool to see.
We're two sassy gays. That's who we are.
It's cool to see, like, each episode we release, we get more listeners. The episode gets listened to faster. So I just want to say, you guys listening, do us a huge favor and give us that 5-star rating and write a little review on Apple Podcasts for us, if you're listening on Apple Podcast, or whatever platform you're listening to, because it really does help us. It really helps the show kind of show up in searches for horror movie podcasts, etc. So do that for us and we'll love you.
Yeah, and I want to say right now, Troy, if we're throwing the hook into the water now, stick around after the podcast. We are going to be announcing something else in the terms of support and how much we want to bring fresh material to you, our listeners.
How much we are serious about this. Let's just put it that way. Because again, we both know there are a lot of podcasts out there. There are a lot of podcasts with two gay male hosts doing what we're doing. And we know that you have a lot of options. So we are very pleased that you tune into us, and we want to continue doing this. We have a blast doing it. We really do.
It literally is just Troy and I sitting here, each a margarita in hand, cackling over films we love.
This is. Can you hear it? This is a margarita. It's actually tequila.
Just straight
club
tequila.
soda and lime.
Troy.
It is straight. No, after the day I had, and I told you about the day. This is much deserved.
Oh,
so
God.
if my words start to get slurred by
Stick
the end
around.
of this episode, I'm sorry. But there are literally 2 shots of tequila in this motherfucker. And if I had the bottle by me right now, but it's in the kitchen, there'd be more.
Yes.
So we better start talking
all the
about
more
the
reason
pool, which
for people
actually,
to stick around.
I would love to be at this pool right now, because I had a kick-ass bar with alcohol
that they broke
out the ass.
into. But one thing I do want to also say for our listeners regarding the pool, for me, again, being a first-time viewer, it kind of was upsetting that this title, really, I can't find it anywhere other than purchasing it, which I probably will be doing at this point, because I would like to own this movie. It's very entertaining. But God, give me like a Blu-ray release.
It's hard to find. It's not available on any streaming platforms. I own the DVD, so that's kind of how we saw it. And so The Pool, 2001. So this comes about 5 years after Scream. Okay. And right away, the opening of this film is definitely mirroring the opening of the original Scream. I mean, it's pretty much paint by numbers.
The same scene.
You have the young woman home named Catherine.
She's handling food.
She's handling food. She's talking on the phone to her mother, talking about how she has a new boy coming over and that she had to break up with her old boyfriend because she found him creepy. And it happens that it's dark out. There's a thunderstorm. We get that whole kind of cliche of the dark, stormy night with, the poor young girl alone in this huge house by herself, and something happens. And what happens is someone rings the doorbell, and she thinks it's her boyfriend, Oliver, right? And she goes to answer the door, and nobody's there. And it's pouring rain out, and this poor Catherine is like, Oliver, where are you, Oliver? And she sees his car. So she thinks he's playing a joke on her. So she proceeds to go out in the pouring rain and walk to his car. And she sees that he is dead in the front seat. His throat is slit wide open. And she goes and runs in the house. And yeah, I mean, the bitch runs upstairs, which is smart. She breaks into the gun cabinet and proceeds to get a shotgun along with some Rambo-style ammunition that she slugs over her shoulder like she's goddamn Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this bitch isn't fucking around. Yeah, right from the beginning, a few notes. This girl ain't no Drew Barrymore.
No,
though she's trying, and I'll say that. I can tell that she wants to be giving a good performance. She has an accent. Maybe there was a language barrier. I don't know.
She doesn't have that much dialogue.
No, she's not the strongest actor in the film, but she likes having that gun on her. She's having herself a good time with that sequence. You can tell she's really getting into the moment. She's trying. But God, yeah, this is a paint by numbers. That's a good way to put it. The whole opening chunk with the phone play and everything very much screams Scream. But it's definitely a bit lackluster in comparison. Like, for example, the whole thing with the boyfriend being discovered, the discovery of the body is very like womp womp. Like, it's kind of okay.
There's zero build up.
Yeah, there's no build up, and
it's very rushed.
Yes,
there's zero build up. It's almost like, to me, it feels like they sort of tacked the scene on at the end of filming. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, oh shit, we probably need a better opening than just a bunch of college kids taking a test.
Well, they do reference Catherine.
They do, but who knows? She could have been. I mean,
yeah.
She's not really referenced that much. She's only referenced at the end.
One line. Yeah, one line.
So, and it really doesn't say that she was supposed to be there or not.
Right.
So, to me, it just feels like it was something that was sort of tacked on after filming.
Yeah.
That they were like, oh shit, we better have a cool opening because, hey, it's a post-Scream slasher. So let's tack this on. We'll make it quick. We're not going to spend a lot of time filming it. Let's film it in one night and see what we can do. It really does feel that way to me. And there is this like score that sounds like it is like stock footage score. It's so like dramatic and just full orchestra, and it doesn't really fit a 2000 slasher flick.
Though I will say the opening track, like the credits music, where it starts with this really heavy beat, I actually found the opening track to be like really good for setting the tone of the film and the mood. But yes, I do hear that as you build into the actual film itself, the score is a bit big, but I think that's what they're going for. The location's a bit big too, The
location's big. The score just to me sounds a bunch of stock footage thrown together. I'm sorry, whoever scored the film.
But go fuck yourselves.
But yeah, but it doesn't sound good. So she's running around the house with this gun and this like, what is it? It's a big string of ammo.
It's like a hunting gun. She like obviously took it from like her father's study or something. I don't know. And so she just throws it over her shoulder and she goes down there. She's ready to fight. And she goes down to the door and she sees in the reflection what appears to be a skull. It's obviously a mask. And she's startled. And so she fires twice. Goes through her bullets.
Well, so yeah, for this bitch to grab the gun so quick, I thought, okay, she knows what she's doing, but she couldn't even hit this thing that was 6 feet in front of her. She fired twice and totally missed. So it's the killer, and we get to see his costume, and it is basically a white skull mask. And he's dressed in like skin tight black jeans and like a skin tight like leather black shirt and just this white skull mask. Again, very reminiscent of Scream, the white ghost face mask.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of kind of effective shots of like the killer in the background when it's dark and you can just see the white mask, the white skull mask, which is kind of cool. But this, after she tries to shoot him, she's pretty much dispatched pretty quickly. Again, that's what I'm talking about. It feels like so rushed. There's no suspense. Like she tries to shoot him, she misses. He breaks through the glass. She runs about 4 feet to try to get out the glass. He slashes her, throws her through the glass door, pulls her back in, stabs her, and throws her in the pool. And that's the end of the opening scene.
Yeah, there ain't nothing special to it. I mean, is it done well? It's yes, it's executed well for what it is. But I do agree with you that this could have been. I guess for an opening kill, I always want like kind of to be blown away. That's what you hope for. That's the like tier that Scream set was that amazing opening sequence. And I mean, how many movies have really managed to capture that same shock? And overall just surprise factor. Not many. And so this one definitely does feel rushed, especially because, yeah, they seem to make this character resourceful, but then they just kind of like throw it to the wind and they waste it. Even down to like her running around through the house and trying to open the doors. Like, this is your home, is it not? So apparently, I guess I'm to assume that whoever the killer is, he's bolted all of your doors, like to the from the outside, maybe. I don't know. Why can't you get out of your house? This is your home. Like, come on.
Well, and again, she's a college student, right? She's friends with apparently with all these other people that are become our main focus for the film, and they're all in college. So but she's at this big fucking mansion.
Yeah.
So I'm like...
But I will say within that mansion, there is a pool. Fitting for the opening sequence.
I was just wondering how she fit into the whole college scene when she apparently, is living in this huge mansion out in the middle of nowhere, but yet she goes to college with all these kids. So apparently she's not living in the dorms, right? So after this opening scene, we get basically introduced to some of our main characters through a classroom scene. It's finals. Oh, after she's killed, after Catherine's killed, there is a little snippet with the phone ringing and the answering machine picking up, and we hear the voice of someone named Sarah leaving her a message talking about the party that's going to be tomorrow, and the killer is there listening to the answering machine. And okay, so there you go. Then it cuts to a scene with a bunch of kids in a classroom, and it's a biology classroom, right? And they're taking a final. We are also treated to lots of beautiful scenery of Czechoslovakia, which is where this film was filmed. Very beautiful cinematography, very scenic.
Some lovely stock footage.
This particular scene in the classroom, I don't know. It tried to be funny. I wasn't really feeling it.
Yeah, they tried to like inject like a shticky like millennial humor into it, and I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Like, it's like, okay, that's fine. Get forward. Basically, move forward. We do learn at least from that Sarah is a good student, and Isla Fisher is a bad student. And everybody else, I suppose, falls somewhere in between. But Isla Fisher is there looking dour and frumpy and unhappy, and she bombs her exam. And that's the one thing that you kind of need to take away from this, because that does carry through the story.
Yeah, she knows. She says she knows the answer, but when he asks her to go write it on the board, she refuses to, or she says she can't. I don't know. In the meantime, Sarah, played by Kristen Miller, is up on the chalkboard writing out this equation, and she gets it right. We are also introduced to probably the most dynamic character in the film, or at least the one that I feel like has the most personality, and that's Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
Carmen is in the classroom. She is this like sexy, what is she, Russian?
I mean, God, listen. Let's be clear though with this. There is an onslaught, and I mean an onslaught of accents. It is so difficult to understand exactly where everybody's from. I think Carmen is actually the one from Germany, I believe. Yeah, I think because I know one of them is from Argentina because they say Argentinian. I think is it Diego, and then obviously Isla Fisher is Australian, and then
James McAvoy is Irish.
Irish. Yeah, so I mean they actually got
Kristen Miller's the lone American. I think Gregor is German. So that's why I thought Carmen was Russian. I don't know. She said I think her accent sounds Russian. But anyways, regardless, Carmen is the most charismatic character in the film. I think right away we kind of get a big glimpse into her personality, and like she's just like this sexy, flirty. You know, she knows she's hot because she's like telling the professor, who we never see, we only hear his voice. She's like, if God didn't want men to have sex, why did he invent women? And I'm like, who says that to their professor? And she's
well, and also, who says you need a woman?
She's saying it very like sexy, and she's like winking at him, and
Carmen is the token slut character. They do, and hey, first of all, more power to the slut characters. I have no problem with the slut character. They often are my favorite characters in these types of films. One thing I do appreciate, though, with Carmen is while they do make her the token slut, they do also give her a little more dimension, a little more layers to her character as things progress. Does she make some mistakes along the way? Of course she does. She's the slut. That's her job. Does she kind of redeem herself? Yeah. You know what? She does. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. So after the exam, they all got to the parking lot where it proceeds to be a giant party with beer and alcohol flowing, even though they are still on the college campus. And we get the scene where like Carmen struts she's strutting her shit out of the building, just strutting her shit. And all of the characters kind of conglomerate in the parking lot, and they're drinking beer and they're talking about what they're going to do. Supposedly there's a party, but after the party, there's going to be another party that's kind of a secret party. But yeah, I was just thinking like, where are the college security people? They're just letting all these college kids like drink alcohol right in the parking lot, and like,
yeah, but didn't they all just basically graduate? Like a bunch of them.
They haven't graduated yet. They just took the final.
But they're done. They're done. Yay! So I mean, like I don't know.
But we get about 10 minutes of just bullshit that doesn't interest me.
I agree, but I will say about this scene, like you need something to kind of establish who these characters are, because there's a lot of people.
There's so many characters. That's the problem with this film.
And a lot of the guys, every guy in this is brunette, and they all look the same.
I was going to say, they all look the same. There were many times in this film where I thought, like, Frank was Gregor. I couldn't tell them apart.
Right. And also, they all get into bathing suits, and they're all shirtless.
And it's all the same color bathing suits, mainly. They're all wearing, like, red baggy bathing suits. I'm like, could you at least put one of them in a Speedo or something?
For the love of God.
But
they're European. That's what they wear. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't either. But that's one. Okay, so I still love this film. Don't get me wrong, but there are too many characters, and there are characters that are unnecessary, that are there, but then we never find out what happens to them.
Are you talking about the Argentinian guy?
And the other one, Chris? There's two characters that I must have missed it. I don't know what happened to them. But regardless, there are way too many characters. And there are two characters we're going to talk about here in a little bit. They have the most epic death scene, but they just appear like, I didn't even know they were. So the film suffers. I think one of the things the film suffers from, I think, is having too many characters, and so none of them really get the development that they deserve because there's too many of them. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if they would have cut the cast down and really focused on like a real small core group of this group, it would have been a little bit more effective and a little bit more easy to follow. Because like you said, and it gets really confusing trying to tell the guys apart. I really don't know there's about 3 of the guy characters. I have no idea what their names are.
Yeah. Like I really was like, I'm going to try to soak up this information without going to IMDb and trying to learn who these people are. But you can't. Like, they all, and again, the accents make it, I mean, they make it for a unique experience and it's kind of cool, but they also makes it even more difficult because like you're trying to follow who's who and who's from where and who's going playing what part in the story, and a lot of them just really don't have any purpose, so they just fade into the background. But they do a good job of at least establishing like the energy of a college, of a campus. Like even in the one scene where you're talking about where it seems like it really kind of drags on, and it does, but like there's like blaring millennium music and people are drinking and there's people passing in front of the camera. It doesn't even feel like really staged. I actually really liked that aspect of the sequence and how they kind of brought us into the world of where these characters are. Because they're definitely, one thing I'm going to say is at least the men in this are douchebags, and they're all entitled, they're all pricks, and of course they are. They go to this like really fine school. It looks to be like a pretty prestigious school. So it's like a big kind of dick size contest between all the males. In this film, there's several occasions where they're all kind of just like puffing out their chests to one another and bragging to one another, and they're not really likable, but they do at least make you want to see them die.
Yeah. That's the thing. That's the other thing is the film also suffers from what a lot of slashers after Scream kind of did, and that is filling your film with unlikable characters. It's kind of like the Friday the 13th remake. I always bring this, or the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, for example. One of the things that makes those films really difficult to watch is the fact that, especially the Friday the 13th remake, is all the characters are extremely unlikable. And so it really makes it hard to care about what happens to any of them.
Yeah.
And I think if you look at the slasher films from, the 70s and 80s, the ones that are held in high regard, Halloween, Black Christmas, Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 2, you name it, one of the things that made them endearing is that you cared about the characters. You did not want to see them die. You formed a connection with them. Even Scream, for example, has likable characters.
Oh, yeah.
This film really doesn't. And so it makes it really difficult. So not only are you trying to care about these characters when they're unlikable, but then you're also trying to keep them apart because there's so many of them that look alike and there's no character development, if that makes sense. So it's like sort of two little strikes right there with the film. And now, again, I understand we're watching a slasher film. We're not watching, The Grapes of Wrath, Gone with the Wind. I totally get that. But even with a slasher film, I think that one of the things I want to see is characters that I like, that I care about. I don't want to, I personally feel bad, rooting for someone to be killed. Unless they absolutely deserve it. So in this film, I can't say that I really cared about any of these characters in terms of one of them, and that was James McAvoy's character, but we'll get there.
Yeah. But no, I completely agree. I know that the characters in this I did care about. They're few and far between. They do give the characters that are getting the attention get it significantly more than those that do not. So at least the character of Sarah, who you will learn is the female lead, they sure make it a point to explain her backstory and why she doesn't like water and why she's sensitive and emotional. Whereas a character like, I don't know, Diego, all I know is his name is Diego. That's all.
Yeah, with Sarah, can I give my obligatory snoring? Good Lord. All right, but we'll get there as well. I do like that you do get the interaction between whiny ass, what's her name? Kim. It's Isla Fisher. Yeah. Kim's whining her ass off, and they're like, Mike, you better go get your girlfriend. And she's just being a total bitch. He's trying to be like, hey, you want to come to this party night? She's like, I don't want to do anything. I failed my exam. Why are you so happy? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God, you're not.
Why would I ever want to come hang out with your friends when I fail my exam? I'm Australian. She's just bitching and bitching. And she doesn't have a single line in this film that is endearing or redeeming. It's bitching from beginning to end.
Nonstop. And what I like is that he does not give into. He does not he does not give into it. He's like, okay, whatever, bitch, bye. He's not trying to like beg her or like, oh honey, okay, I'll stay with you tonight then instead of going to the party. He's like, okay, bye, bitch, I'm going, whatever. And then you do get the character of Frank, who we're introduced to very briefly, who is wearing a shirt that says "fuck me," which I thought was, hey Frank, that's pretty blatant. Come.
I mean, I like a forward man, and some people would be like, oh, that's trashy, and I'd be like, oh, yeah, that's really trashy. And in the background, I'd be like, hey, Frank, find me in the locker room. Even if he's not that pretty, he's kind of like, okay,
but
he's
am I
okay.
wrong?
It doesn't
but
matter.
am I wrong? Frank and Gregor, the two actors that play Frank and Gregor, look identical. They could be brothers. So it's really hard to keep them apart.
Well, also the characters that play Chris and, wait.
Oh, my God. Who the fuck knows?
Chris, okay. Chris is the one who is like kind of like a sexual like deviant. Chris like is the one that like is he not the one that tries to throw Sarah into a pool at one point?
Chris.
Yeah, Chris is like basically like if this was made in 2021, he would be getting canceled right now. He is crossing the line and he does it multiple times.
We do find out then that they're having this unofficial party, and Sarah, of course, is asking Gregor. Sarah and Gregor are dating. Gregor is like the rich, handsome, entitled guy of the bunch who is able to have these parties at these elaborate places. And she's like, well, where are you having it? And he like very ominously says, if I told you, I'd have to kill you. And I'm thinking, okay, red herring. Can we be a little bit less obvious?
Like the most obvious red herring right off the bat. Everything about this guy screams like I'm going to be the killer, which in turn, he probably is not going to be the killer because it's so overt, it's so in your face. But God, he's pretty. I like him. I think he's very handsome, and I like that he's wearing all blue for, whatever the reason. They mention it. He's in nothing but blue. And he's a good-looking guy, and I like his accent. I'm weak for accents. Let's get this clear right now, listeners. Any of you guys have accents? Send us a voicemail. Say hello. I love hearing accents. I'd love for you to read a chapter of a book to me. I find that very erotic.
We get an array of accents in this film.
We do an onslaught of accents.
So after this scene goes on for about 10 minutes too long, we do cut to the three guys. I think it's Gregor, Frank, and Chris. I think. Maybe Diego. I don't know. Three of them go to see this other guy who's a mechanic named Martin. And I liked Martin. Martin's American,
I did too.
Right? He seems to be American. Okay.
Yes. But there's a Martin and there's a Mike, which makes for even more confusion.
So Martin's a pretty nice guy. They go to him because they know that he has the tools and the knowledge to break into locations. So Gregor is like, hey, will you will you help us tonight? We're going to get in this location. He's like, well, why would I help you guys? And they're like, well, just come on. And then Gregor tells him that Mel is going to be there, whoever that is. So we have Mel, Mike, Martin. But right away, Martin's like, yeah, okay, I'll be there. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Is Mel a guy? Could we get maybe some homoerotic shit? But it's not. It's not.
Again, and we always bring this up. This is the early 2000s. They know what they're fucking doing. There's some gay tones here. Don't tell me there's not. From the spandex black bodysuit that the killer's wearing. Like the tightest pants I've ever seen. Don't tell me that's not gay. It's something that's straight out of a Dom movie. And then you got these guys circle jerking in the back over here talking about Mel and like the one guy has the most early 2000s hair, Martin. He looks like oh my God, who's the one that he sang with a guitar? His hair was very spiked. Ryan
Cabrera.
Ryan Cabrera.
On the way down.
He's got he's got some Ryan Cabrera hair. And that's the only thing that differentiates him from the other men because he's also a brunette. But you got to look for the little details if you're going to make it through this movie.
Next, we get Sarah going to Carmen's house. Apparently, none of these kids live on campus. They all own their own houses. That's how rich they are.
Their parents are rich enough to send them to a school out of the country.
Yeah, so Sarah goes to Carmen. She goes in the backyard and she finds Carmen floating face down in her pool, another pool.
Oh my God. And Sarah fucking flips her shit, runs to the edge of the pool, and instead of doing anything, she reaches out and she's like, oh my God, Carmen, take my hand. Take my hand, Carmen. And it's like, bitch, if you really cared, you'd get in the pool. Now, you do find out that plays a factor. But
there's a dramatic swelling of music, and we find out that Carmen is just basically practicing how long she can hold her breath underwater.
Oh, like that's not going to come in handy at some point.
I wrote down foreshadowing, but also there is no way, the way that fucking Sarah was screaming and carrying on.
Oh my God, Carmen
would have heard that. She was only floating on this. She wasn't underwater. Her face was she was floating. She would have heard that. But when she comes up for air, she acts like she's surprised that Sarah's there. I'm like, bitch, you just heard her screaming her fucking head off.
Well, one thing I like about Carmen is I don't think she gives a fuck. I think Carmen is very much doing what Carmen's wanting to do over the course of this film. And if it betters Carmen, she goes for it. And if it inconveniences other people, she doesn't really care. She and Sarah have a strange friendship. Apparently they're best friends and have had a long friendship because this comes up. But Carmen does a few things throughout the course of this film that very much seems like she's like, fuck you, Sarah. You mean nothing to me, and I'm totally going to disregard you and your feelings. Because apparently, I'm guessing Carmen knows about Sarah's issue with
Sarah,
water.
To me, okay, can we just get it out there? Sarah is an awful final girl.
Yes.
Boring, bland as fuck. And it's not
boring. She never overcomes her. Well, no, she overcomes her shit. What am I saying?
Like, she reminded me, even with the same sort of backstory about being scared of water. You know who it reminded me of? Rennie from Friday the 13th, Part 8. Just this whiny, bland, like, I don't give a fuck about you, Sarah. It kind of suffered like this, like, it seemed like slasher movies after Scream kind of suffered from this, like, bland final girl syndrome. Like, we had, like, what's her fucking name from Urban Legend? Natalie.
Oh, don't come for her. Don't you? No, I'll fight you to the death on Natalie. I love a redheaded
but she was bland as fuck. And
she's doe-eyed and very scared at all times. But I love her. I don't think she's.
I know.
She's got those big old boobies, though. It doesn't matter. They're delivering. I hear you, though.
But I'm just saying, like, there is nothing about Sarah that I find appealing. Like, I would not have cared if she would have died.
They try really hard, though, to make Sarah, like, endearing. Like, she's always making, like, likable comments. And she's like, come on, guys, we can do things. Like, she's, like, the ray of light in this circle of assholes. Everybody in this group is a fucking detestable. And then you got Sarah, who's so nice that she's unlikable, too. And it makes her almost more difficult to deal with.
Yeah, I much preferred Carmen.
Yes.
Than Sarah. Sarah was just boring.
I gotta say, a lot of our listeners have very much expressed that they like this movie, and I was going to this, I was very much prepared to be like, I like this film. And I said, let me be clear, I still like this film, but it is not a great movie. It doesn't mean that this is a great movie.
I like the film. It's fun. Like, we said at the beginning, it's a popcorn flick straight through. If you want to sit back and be entertained, it's going to entertain the fuck out of you. However, our job
as professional reviewers,
as professional,
my movie has a 2.4 on IMDb. I'm allowed to have an opinion.
I think mine has well, Teacher Shortage is still 6.5.
Oh, it dropped to 5. I checked it today. It did. It dropped to a 5, but it's still a 5. At least you're not a 2.3. But you know what? We got this. We're good. And our criticisms are not saying that the movie doesn't deliver what it's meant to do in the long run. It does that really fucking well. It doesn't mean that the characters are necessarily likable, though. You just would rather see them die in the long run. And I guess that makes for a good slasher in the long run as well. So, overall, would I say that this movie didn't keep me entertained beginning to end? No, I thought this movie was extremely entertaining. I just hated the people in it. Continue.
That's pretty much it.
And we're done with the review.
We're done. We're signing off. We're gonna get a lot of one-star ratings.
Oh, certain. I know a few gays are gonna be coming for us tomorrow morning.
We had, yeah.
Huff, puff, puff. Okay, now continue.
Where am I at? I don't know where the fuck.
We're bitching about Sarah. We're just bitching.
Okay, well, Sarah. Well, okay, so Sarah though is as bland as she is. She does have Gregor, who's pretty hot.
Yes.
The next scene is somehow she gets to Gregor's house, and they're in bed now, and they're playing this game about who they'd rather fuck, and they're going through like, oh, Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp, or Angelina Jolie or Jennifer Aniston, and then Sarah says, would you rather fuck Mel or Carmen?
Don't open that can of worms, girl.
She did.
She did. She brought it on herself.
He gets quiet.
Yeah. Well, he gets defensive. Answer. He's like, why would you ask that? Why would you ever say that? No. And she's like, oh, come on. It's just a game. Listen, I've played that game before, and you know what I'm playing that game with people? To be manipulative, so I have a reason to be jealous. I'm not stupid. I know when people ask that question that there's a secret meaning behind it. Sarah is playing games.
But then they do talk about how they're going that everyone's going their separate ways, but she loves him. So I don't know if she was planning on staying in Czechoslovakia to be with him, even though she's from America. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and she almost bails out of going to the party. And he convinces her to attend, which in a way only adds to the red herring vibe. But he does it in a very like boyfriendy way. It seems very genuine, but it still is suspicious. Just in the fact that, as you'll learn, the whole goal is to get all of the characters trapped in this environment once they arrive. So they get over their little dialogue of, questioning life and why they're all together, and they proceed.
It cuts to now Mike and Kim, Isla and James are at some remote lake, and he asks her about going to the party again. And then she proceeds to like literally freak out at him, just screaming at him. And you are nothing. She's like, I'm so sick of you rich people. All you do is care about your Beamers and your Mercedes. And I'm going back to where I came from. It's over. So she basically breaks up with him.
Yeah. And the whole time he stands there and looks at her kind of with like an expression of like, are you fucking kidding me? Like it can obviously do better than this unstable woman. She is erupting on him for no reason, and she takes off. Like, she just up and leaves. She doesn't think it over at all, because she apparently is a good distance from anywhere civilized, or they're like the middle of the woods, right? So she's like walking back on this path at one point. She's obviously like miles away.
Yeah, it's nighttime now all of a sudden, and she's walking down this road, and she comes to Mike's truck that's parked there somehow. Because we do see someone get in Mike's truck and drive it, but then how did they get to the lake? How did they get to the lake? I don't know. But she is walking down. She comes to his truck, and now she sees this truck, and now the bitch is trying to be nice. Now she's like, oh, Mike, answer me. I'm just kidding. I just want to go home.
I'm sorry, I said, there's really awful things back there. I'm sorry. She's like sucking dick. Not literally, but, figuratively sucking dick, trying to get a ride back. And then she hears that there's somebody in the woods. The car's locked. There's nobody in it, but there's someone in the woods. And you can hear them, like, moving around her and the branches breaking and everything.
And it's the killer. The killer jumps out at her. And she falls, and he tries to hack her. And can we just say this machete is sharp as fuck? How many shots in this film are there of this machete slicing into shit as when the killer misses?
Stabbing through metal.
Slicing into branches. Every time he misses, there's a shot of like whatever he misses, this machete like literally slicing into it. I'm like, this has to be the world's sharpest machete.
Yeah. I think whoever the killer is making up for, something by having a really big fucking machete too. And when you find out in the ending who it is, it only makes all the more sense. But I will say about Isla Fisher, at least she's got a good running scene.
Yeah, there is
because she tries.
There is a nice little chase scene here. She gets chased through the woods. There's a couple of close calls where she falls and the killer swings at her and misses. And then she gets away. And as she's running, she comes to this house in the woods that has lights on, which is never good. But as she turns to run to this house, the killer appears in front of her and shoves the machete through her stomach, and it comes out her back, and it looks like to be a very painful death.
Yeah, they do a really nice aerial shot above her that starts rotating and she's bleeding out, and it's like a nice and long shot, so it does make it seem like it's like a drawn out kill, which I appreciate. There's a few points that while she's running where Isla Fisher like stops and she's like, oh god, oh no, like looking around like, oh my god, like over her shoulder, and it's like, bitch, like, don't stop. Don't ever stop. Do not stop until you are somewhere. That is why you died, Isla Fisher, because you stopped like a moron and hesitated before screaming at the top of your lungs and busting through that door of that house asking for help. So, she brought it on herself by being a fucking bitch.
Yeah, it's a painful. All of the deaths in this film, they might not be graphic, but they look very painful.
Yes, this movie definitely, like, especially as it progresses, it delivers on the kill front for sure. There's several kills that are really entertaining, and we will get to those as we always do.
So now we cut to the group of kids waiting for Greg to show up outside of the party that they were just at. They exchange all of these, like you said, millennial bro insults, like, oh, bro, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's such a dick-sized contest.
Yeah. And Gregor shows up, and they all get in their cars, and we know it's actually they have cassette players in their car, which seems a little dated. 2001, wouldn't you have a CD player? But they all have cassette players. They push their cassettes in at the same time, and we get a montage with the late 90s alt-rock boy band music playing.
My God, what a driving montage. It is quite long, and they're joking and singing and standing up in the car and being obnoxious and problematic behind the wheel, and they're really having a good time in their fancy hot rods until they arrive at the location of the film. The key location, they pull up in front of this large building.
Well, the one girl, remember, she flashed her tits so she can get some beer.
Oh, yeah. That's Mel.
It's Mel. We do get an obligatory tit shot.
Mm-hmm. B-cup Mel.
Very quick, but it's there.
Yeah.
And then, they arrive at the facility, but then there's just this weird sort of out of nowhere scene with a police officer showing up in an apartment where there is a dead girl that someone found a dead girl in this apartment. And we find out that they think for some reason that it could be her stepbrother that killed her. We don't know who it is, but the one officer is like, oh, here's this picture. And they never show the picture. And then it's mentioned that, well, he goes to this college and he's probably at this party celebrating, this annual party that they have. So
yeah,
they kind of set up the fact that one of these kids is the killer.
Yeah. Well, and I honestly thought that this was like the discovery of the body of the girl from the opening, the one that got stabbed in the pool. But like, I don't know. It was so out of nowhere. And they introduced this cop character, this detective, this old, like weathered, fuck my life detective, who is, I almost feel like they're trying to find a Dr. Loomis to a to a Michael Myers counterpart in this movie that is a thing that, like, if they maybe explored it more, could have been, I don't know, interesting, because there's nothing else like that in this film. But this guy has kind of like a through story over the course of the movie. It's thin, though, so you don't really get a lot from it. You just get some weird, unnecessary exposition that you don't even know if it exactly ties in for sure.
You're talking about the police officer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. One of the most undeveloped characters in the entire film. I really honestly feel like his every scene that this guy is in could have been cut from the film, and it would not have changed one thing about the film, period.
At all. Nothing at all.
We already have a red herring with the way we know there's a killer based on the opening scene. B, we know they're already trying to force Gregor as a red herring down our throat.
Yeah.
So we didn't need this at all.
No. The only thing this did was provide a gun for another character to discover.
True.
At a point in the movie. True. I literally think they're like, how do we get a gun in a swimming pool? Like, how do we get this gun there? But, you know, I will say, like, I knew that this was going to be the case with this character. I had a gut feeling. I was like, this guy's going to be so disposable. And I'm bummed that I was right, because I was hoping for there to be like something a little bit more in this movie, trying to maybe give us like a more complex explanation for why this is happening and what exactly is going on, but they chose to just not tie it in. It really was just kind of a waste of time.
Yeah, I don't even think he's given a proper name. He's just called Officer. Yeah, it's so unnecessary. But after this scene, we get basically the kids arrive at this giant indoor water facility. And I do have to say, it is an awesome location for a slasher film. It is, I will say, it is 100% what makes this film so entertaining.
Oh, absolutely.
What makes this film entertaining is not the cast of characters.
No.
It's the setting and the kills. Which I guess if you're talking about a slasher movie, that's what you want, right?
Yeah.
So right there, it kind of knocks it out of the park.
Absolutely. The location, the introduction to it, they bring everybody into this hallway, and one of the characters goes, lights, and all of a sudden all the lights turn on, and they walk in through this hall to reveal the main area of the pool, and it really is kind of breathtaking. It's really, really like high-end, ornate. It almost looks like something straight out of Las Vegas, you know? The fact that this is in like a European country, it makes sense, because it's just so much more pristine than anything we would see here. And it does elevate this movie 10 times. Like, it really just kicks it up so many notches. Because other than that, this movie would just be another disposable slasher with a really thin cast of characters. One thing I do want to point out, because I actually had a note on this, but as I was bitching about this cop, I forgot to mention it. The one thing that they do mention, him and his other police officer who are investigating this body, they bring up the whole fact that it could be potentially this brother who, stepbrother. They do make sure to acknowledge that he is schizophrenic. One of my favorite fallback explanations for why a killer kills: schizophrenia. Let's use a thin veneer description of a mental illness, and just throw that veil on the rest of the movie, because then whoever the killer is, they're just gonna be like, and he's schizophrenic. Like, you know, they don't go into it any more other than just bringing up the term schizophrenic. And I thought that was like kind of, I hate to be like problematic, but.
Well, and I was just going to mention, we've covered a couple of films that are considered problematic because of the killers, and Sleepaway Camp, for example, is one of the films that we talked about. If you haven't listened to our Sleepaway Camp episode, go back and do it, because it is probably one of our best. But we do talk about that film being viewed as problematic, and I think we both agreed that we don't think it's transphobic. But the same people that will say it's transphobic will look at this film and say, oh my God, it's entertaining as fuck. Even though what they are trying to do at this moment is pin a mental illness, schizophrenia, as an excuse to slaughter a bunch of people with a machete.
Well, yeah. And not only...
However...
Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, however, that's really not his motive in this film at all. But it is thrown out there as being... he's schizophrenic. He must have killed his stepsister, and now everyone else he's around is in danger.
Exactly. Like, they literally just bring up the terminology just to have it in there, and they don't give it any merit or nuance or any they don't delve any deeper into like the humanity behind it. And that's where I think it's kind of like a little bit of an insult to anyone with mental illness, really. But this is very much of the times, like that early 2000s approach to this kind of material. So I'm not really that shocked. But I just wanted to acknowledge that. I also want to acknowledge when they walk into this damn pool, like, was it really that easy to break into this luxurious pool setting? Because, I mean, this is a big space. I feel like this location would have a far more complex alarm system and cameras. And yes, I understand that the one character, Marvin, is that his name?
Martin.
I can't even remember. All the names are a blur for me. Martin, like, yes, I understand that he's like a mechanic, but is he really equipped to override these alarms and cameras for this what I'm assuming would have to be a high-tech alarm system, because this place looks expensive as fuck.
Oh, it gives the film... right away, this location amps the film's production value up like tenfold. I mean, they had to have spent some money on this location. It's beautiful. We can't stress that enough. It is an absolutely stunning location for a slasher film. And so, yeah. But like you mentioned, obviously it's pretty easy to break into. And from the outside, it doesn't look that great. It looks like just like a giant warehouse. But then you get it.
It looks like a meat packing plant.
Yes.
like it is a surprise. It's like when Dorothy enters Oz and she opens the door, she's like, oh, like that's what it feels like.
You know, there aren't a lot of slasher films set in a pool. Although I will talk about, we'll get there here real quick because one of the first. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
So they get to the pool. Now there is this fucking film and its long montages. There is this long montage of them all of basically pool shenanigans. They all change into their bathing suits. The guys get into their swim trunks, which again, baggy as fuck. I wanted to see some skin. I wanted to see some bulges. Yeah. We don't get any of that because they are wearing basically trash bags.
Well, trash bags. And not only that, none of these, all of these men have the exact same, frail, 17-year-old boy build.
I mean, they all have nice bodies, but that is one thing I did notice is, none of these guys are, overly, muscular. They look like they're just they're basically typical college guys that might work out a bit. None of them are overly buff. Yeah. They're all pretty much lean. But again, can we just say that makes them all look exactly the same?
Exactly. I'll say they did a pretty good job of casting people who look like they could be graduating college. It doesn't look like too much of a stretch for any of the cast members, really. But, yes, they, more so than ever, blur together and become one, the same description applies to all of them. Yeah, kind of European, olive skin.
I mean, I'm not going to... Yeah. I wouldn't tell any of them, no, I'm not going to kick any of them out of bed, but they all...
I don't know who any of them are. I mean, they exist within this world.
Do you really have to? If they're... No, I'm just kidding. There is this little scene or a little clip of Carmen and... Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I honestly, again, this is the problem with the film. Is it Gregor that she is underwater with?
Yeah, it's the boyfriend.
She's kissing and grabbing his dick.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, Carmen. We're being a real good friend to Sarah, I see.
Yes, because Sarah, because we have to mention, Sarah won't get in the water. Sarah doesn't swim.
Sarah's haunted by ghosts of her past.
Yeah, she's basically Rennie from Friday the 13th Part 8. She's scared of water.
Her father died while trying to save her.
Drowned. We do find that. She's moping around.
If it's not one story, it's another. We've heard it all before.
And at one point, one character is like, why the fuck did you come then if you're so scared of water? I'm like, yes, you stayed your ass home.
And that's what I will say there is Gregor. It's Gregor or Greg. They call him Greg at a few points, I think. But yes. Gregor doesn't listen. He's been dating this chick for a while. I would think that he would have the know-how in a relationship to think, maybe I shouldn't take my girlfriend to this location that automatically triggers her phobias. I would think that he would know that that's a bad move. Now, maybe he's trying to push her to do something to help her get over it. Like me, I hate driving. I can't drive. I drove for 2 years. I hate it. Sometimes my boyfriend forces me to sit behind the wheel and berates me, which is helpful, you know. But that would be like him taking me to a submarine and telling me to get onto a submarine. I have a phobia of submarines, unlike anything. Irrational fear of submarines. So I'm similar to Sarah. So I understand her anger because she expresses, she's like, I'm pretty pissed that you brought me to the place that triggers my memories of the death of my father. But we'll get to that in a moment. But it's a bad boyfriend move, don't you think?
Well, here's the thing. I'm just going to throw this out here too. I feel like Sarah gives much more of a fuck about Gregor than he does.
Ain't it the truth?
She says "I love you" to him like 5 times in this movie. And he never says it back. Never. And he kisses Carmen. He like lets her.
He's the worst boyfriend ever. He's so bad. And Carmen's the worst friend ever.
God, yes, these people.
And like Sarah's like, okay, is Sarah vanilla and boring as all hell? Yes. She's very lame. But she also seems like she's a very nice person. Too nice, in my opinion. She's always trying to be helpful and kind to people. And she kind of gets shat all over by the people she's closest to. So, I don't know. Some people have it coming in regards to what happens.
Well, yeah, this is when, after this scene, this is when Chris, again, one of the guys that looks exactly like all the others, Chris grabs, like he notices Sarah's not gotten in the water. So he grabs her and is going to throw her in the water. And she's like, leave me alone. Put me down, blah, blah, blah. And she like punches him.
Well, Chris is a sexual predator and he probably should be punched. Because at one point he also takes off Mel's bottoms of her bathing suit. And she's like, give him the fuck back. Which, I mean, a woman should say in that moment. And he thinks it's hilarious. So Chris is a sexual predator. He deserves to be punched. She gets his nose to start bleeding. So she's got a good right hook. And
she's screaming at him, and Gregor comes, and this is when you find out that Sarah can't go in the water, and Gregor's like, you can't, Sarah, she can never go in the water. And he's like, why? He's like, we don't talk about it. And then this is when Chris is like, well, why the fuck did you come then? And she's like, I don't know. Why did I come? And she storms off. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, she's like, I'm fucking pissed that you brought me here, Gregor.
Now we cut to a random couple who I don't remember seeing before playing on a water slide.
Their names are Carter and Svenja, I believe.
You probably looked it up on IMDb.
Well, I did, because here's what threw me off. I was like, okay, who in this group, which one of the girls has long hair?
Because yes, the only girls they ever focus on are Carmen, Mel, and Sarah.
And they all have they all have like shorter hair.
Yeah, and then you just get this random girl going on a slide with this random guy. Yeah. Who, again, is brunette.
Yes. Again, I thought he was one of the many other men that we have already been seeing. I just thought he was one of them.
We keep saying this, but folks, trust me, these guys all look the same. And so they're going down a water slide, and it looks fun.
Oh, God, they're having the time of their lives.
Oh, it's a beautiful water slide. There's like lights that are flashing as they go down.
And it seems to be like a 10-minute long slide.
This slide is the longest fucking water slide in the history of mankind. Especially when this girl goes down by herself. It takes an hour to her to get to the bottom. But they go down once, and she's like, oh, I want to go again. And he's like,
go, yes, go.
No, well, he's like, I want you to ride something else. And she's like, no, we're going down one more time. And he's like, no, you go, because if I go, I'm puking. So I'll wait for you. So she proceeds to go up to this water slide, and she's going to go down by herself again. So she starts to go down. I'm telling you, this is a long ass water slide because she's having the time of her life going down it.
Chuckling. And she calls to him from the top of the slide, and her voice it's like distant. It's like, I'm about to come down now. Like, you can hear
it didn't look like it had that high of a ceiling.
No, it must just be the length of the building, maybe, but it sounds like she's like a mile away. But yeah, so she's going down, chuckling, laughing, cheering. Meanwhile, Troy.
Not for long, bitch. Not for long. Meanwhile, her boyfriend, what did you say his name was?
Carter.
Okay, come on. So now we got Carter, Chris.
But then we got Svenja.
Svenja. Okay.
Svenja. Svenja.
See, we do our homework here. Roger looked on IMDb to learn how to spell her name just for you.
Because I didn't know what they were saying because they're walking around calling for her. And I was like, what is this woman's name?
Anyways, as she's going down, the killer jumps out of the water and slashes Carter across the chest with the machete and then proceeds to like stab him brutally through the back. It's pretty great. It's pretty, again, painful looking.
Yeah.
People take a long time to die in this film too. Like it's not like your typical, oh, you get stabbed, you drop dead. Like that shows like them suffering and spitting out blood and grueling in pain. So in the meantime, she's still going down this fucking water slide. Still. Okay, so we've had a person get killed, we've had all this shit go on, and she's still on this fucking water slide. So what happens is the killer shoves his machete stabs it through the water slide. So as she's coming down, legs spread, going full speed, she can't stop. She sees the machete in the body just in time, but she can't stop. And so she basically goes legs first right into this fucking machete. Oh my God. How painful would this be? It slices her vagina. Good. I mean, and blood and guts just fly down the fucking slide.
Like you knew it was coming. You knew that something was coming, that she was going to, be impaled or what have you. I love the moment when she turns the bend and sees the bottom of the slide. And you could see, like, she sees what's about to happen and she's trying to stop. And there's, like, that moment. There's nothing you can do. And that's where, like, the real intensity hits with this kill. It's like, his kill's fine. It's good. But, like, there's this moment where you're like, oh, shit. Like, she knows exactly what's coming for her. And when she hits and you see her legs hit and stop at the edge of the slide and then her knees go, like, limp and her legs just drop. And it's such a good shot. It's so cool.
I mean, it is one of the most creative slasher deaths I think we got in the 2000s. I mean, it's very creative. I will say, because someone mentioned this film, there's a film, I don't know if have you seen it, Roger? It came out a couple of years ago called Aqua Slash.
No, but I feel like I remember hearing about this movie.
Basically, the film took this one death scene and tried to make a feature film around it.
Nice.
And it sucks. It's really bad.
Okay.
I mean, it's really bad. Like nothing literally happens until like the last 5 minutes of the film, where there's a water slide and the grand opening of this water slide park that these people have been trying to, like, these certain people have been trying to like shut down so it doesn't get to open. So they plan to, like, they feel like if they do this, like kill a bunch of people on opening day, that it'll sink the water park. So on opening day, there's a whole group of kids that are going down this water slide, and the killer like shoves this, like, it's like an X-shaped, two blades that are shaped as an X.
Yeah.
Through the water slide, so they have to hit it.
Yeah.
But it's like the last 5 minutes of the film, and the remainder of the film is just a bunch of like comedy kids, like Porky. It's so bad. I'm like, ugh. But they took this idea, they try to make it a feature film out of it, and it just didn't work. What works about this film is it's just comes out of nowhere. You're not expecting it. It's not like a set piece that is there to carry the film. Because this happens pretty early in the film. Right. It's like one of the first major deaths of the film.
Yeah. Dare I say major, only in the sense that these characters really serve no purpose other than to die here. Be killed. But it is a great kill, and it really does like set the bar high for the rest of the kills over the course of the movie. And I will say that, like, while not every kill is absolutely amazing, this movie does have a few that stand out.
Well, this is the standout film. Yeah, I think this death is pretty awesome. Then it cuts to Mike and Sarah having a little bit of a moment together. He draws her on a napkin and gives it to her, and she's like, and this is what I'm just like, Sarah, I just want to slap you because you have this really cute guy, James McAvoy, with his beautiful Irish accent, especially in this particular scene. Oh, swoon. And she's like so dismissive of him. He gives her this napkin that he drew a picture on. She's like, "Oh, thank you. I'm going to give it to Gregor." And he's like, "It's not for Gregor. It's for you." And he tries to tell her that Gregor is not like a good boyfriend. And
yeah,
before he can really tell her anymore, Gregor comes. And so that ruins that moment.
Yeah. That this is an angle of this character that, again, if we're going to talk about unexplored story arcs, his character isn't really given a chance to develop this anymore. His kindness towards Sarah, his informing her of what ends up being a pretty prominent aspect of Gregor's character. The character of Mike, you kind of think he's going to be more pivotal because he has this whole breakup that he goes through. He's kind of going through the whole, like, it's Kim. Was that her name, Kim? Yeah, like the whole thing, like what happened with Kim. Like, he does have a moment where he recalls that. And you feel almost like he's going to maybe step up as being like one of the final guys. You know what I mean? Like, they seem to develop him in a way where you expect that to be the case, and it doesn't happen. I'll say that right now. And it's a letdown because he really is charming in this. He really is one of the best actors in this film.
His character's done dirty in this film because they really do set it up that he's given, based on this large cast, he really is given, he's one of the characters that's given sort of the most to do. I would say even more than like Sarah or even Gregor, who Gregor's sole purpose in this film is just to be a red herring and be a dick, because Gregor's character disappears through huge chunks of this film. So whereas the Mike character is pretty present throughout the whole thing until that one shitty thing that happens to him, which we are getting there. So after this little encounter, we do cut to now Martin and Mel have hooked up. They're having a little moment in the pool where he's basically, apparently they've dated or something because he's telling her how much he's missed her. And they basically are sitting in the pool, and then they decide to go have sex in the workout room. So they're making out hot and heavy on the workout bench. And she's like, "Do you have a condom?"
These clearly aren't gay men.
No, because they would have just been shoved in right then and there.
Raw dogging it right there.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. But Mel wants a condom, so he's like, "Oh yeah, I have a whole." And she's like, "Oh, you better bring a box full."
Oh boy, Mel. Can't feel a thing, but okay.
Oh yeah, condoms. Not my favorite thing.
Who likes them?
Apparently Gregor, or apparently, what is his name? Martin, because he sure gets up and runs to get one.
Oh yeah.
I'd have been like, "Bitch, just jerk me off." Like, seriously, I'm not even wasting.
Open your mouth. lay back on that workout bench and open your mouth. But he runs off, and he runs off to get rubbers, and she's laying there, and it does cut away for a moment, but overall I just kind of want to tackle this sequence as one sequence because it is a pretty fun sequence. She's laying there on the bench, and you see like these hands come down and start fondling her boobies. And she's like, "Oh yeah." Like, for me, if someone started touching me like that, I'd be like, "Ugh." Like, I would like jump up, like immediately need to know who it was. But she, sensually opens her eyes, and it's the killer. And he takes the barbell and he lifts it and just drops it. And girl stops it right before it like crushes her. So first of all, like, good form. She's got some upper body strength. I'm happy for her. But we've all been there before, Troy. I know you've been there before, where you're bench pressing and you're like, "I can do an extra 15, 20 today." And you throw them up. You go to lift and it just drops and you're almost about to crush your windpipe and your like arms are trembling and you're like, oh God, this is how I die. This is how I die. Like, I've had this happen many times to me before. I really can relate to Mel because I'm not all that strong. I have probably the same upper body strength as a 20-something-year-old woman. And at that moment, I was like, if this is how she goes out, I'll never bench press again.
No, but it reminded me of the death scene in Happy Birthday to Me. We see all these connections now between, we've done this, 33 times?
Oh yeah.
So
and they all start to resemble each other.
Yes, they really do.
you.
But she's able, right as he's getting ready to it's really kind of creepy because he takes the blade of the machete and puts it on her neck like he's like getting his aim. He knows where to hit. So he taps it on her neck a few times and then raises it. And she is able to push the dumbbell off and hit him and get up and run. So even Mel gets a nice little chase scene through this kind of large, isolated pool area. Although, I mean, how fucking big is this place? Because she's running forever and can't find any of her friends who are here.
Yeah, well, she ends up cutting through the the locker rooms while everyone else in the pool has culminated together now and are flipping out because they have found the bodies.
Yes, I was just going to get there.
Of Svenja and Carter. And so they're all freaking out, and rightfully so. But they don't call the police. And I know he says that his cell phone is in the car, but they do realize that the phones are dead, correct?
I don't know. Who were the...
I'm pretty sure they do.
Okay, so Carmen and one of the other guys find the body. Find Carter and Svenja? They find their bodies in the pool. It's full of blood. Who's the other guy? Is it Chris?
Is it... There's Chris, and then there's also...
Diego.
Diego has a mustache.
Is it Raphael?
Is there a fucking Raphael in this clip?
I'm feeling like there's a Raphael.
I hope not, because I don't know who they are at all. Is there a Raphael?
I have in my notes. I have
phone.
Raphael.
A Raphael. Where the fuck did he come from? What's Raphael's story? I need you to prove to me that Raphael is a character in this, because I don't think you're right.
Okay, it might be Diego.
Okay.
I swear to God, it's Raphael.
No, Diego is the Argentinian. That's the reason. I have a friend, Sebastian, who is Argentinian. So anytime I hear the term Argentina, I think of him, and I think of Patti LuPone singing A New Argentina from Evita. And so for some reason, Argentina sticks out to me when it's mentioned. So I heard them say that he's from Argentina, and so I immediately was drawn to Diego because, full circle, my friend Sebastian's brother's name is Diego. So I was like, this is easy for me to identify. But Raphael...
Okay, we'll just say Diego. Diego sounds nice. I could be making Raphael up.
I don't think there's anyone in this movie named Raphael whatsoever. But if he's in it, we're gonna find him. So Diego.
Is it her and Diego find, or her and Chris find the dead bodies? I personally am a lot of times am not a fan when a slasher movie like halfway through does this, where like all of the characters find the bodies and then it's basically the rest of the film is like they know there's a killer and they're trying to break up. And I prefer like the old fashioned, like nobody knows there's a killer until you get to the final girl. But this kind of works here. So they're trying to get out. They find out that basically the group finds out that they're locked in, right?
Because Sarah very specifically turns, as they're trying to open the doors and they're clearly locked, she turns to everyone. She goes, "We're locked in. We're locked in." like she really hits it home. They are not getting out, and they are aware. So they immediately start to try to become proactive, run to the phones. They do check the phones because the phones are all dead, and they have no means of getting out.
Now we cut back to Mel, who is running through the locker room. She makes the mistake.
Is the noisiest runner I've ever heard.
She makes the mistake of stopping. She stops like to look around. And why, this is again, people, if you ever find yourself being chased by a killer, don't fucking stop. Just run.
No.
Run
blindly into the night. I don't care where you're going. Once I got mugged, Troy, and this is a true story, and I was getting mugged and I just ran into oncoming traffic. Because if I was going to die, at least I was going to die by my own regard and not at the hands of someone trying to take my shit or claim my life. I will be in charge of my fate, sir. So yeah, just run blindly into the night.
Poor Kim earlier in the film stopped. She got stabbed through her fucking stomach. The second that this broad, Mel, stops, the killer fucking chops her feet off.
Oh, it's wild and kind of strange how they do it.
She stops in front of like a I'm assuming it's either a shower or a bathroom stall that has, has like the foot of space underneath it so that you can like see underneath. So she's standing there and all of a sudden the killer takes his machete and just whoosh, he must be on. I don't know how you get that good of an aim being that close to the floor or that strength to be able.
Well, he took the machete and shoved it through the wall. I don't know if I was seeing this clearly. Didn't he take like wasn't there like a wire involved, like a tripwire?
No,
he
cuts her feet off with the machete. He swings the machete under her. She's standing next to the stall, and he swings it under there and cuts her feet off.
And she's like hanging on to the top of it,
because her hands are still there, and she's like, and then
regardless, they do it in a way that you only see the killer's perspective. Yeah. You don't actually see anything of her reveal for this kill, and which is a big letdown, I will say. There is a reveal later when she's discovered, but even that is done in a way where you don't exactly know what happened.
He stabs her once she's hanging on to the stall. He stabs her through the stall with the machete, and she's like gurgling and dies. And then the group basically at the same time, Martin's back. He's like, "Oh my God, I left Mel in the weight room." So they run and go find her. And this is when they go into the locker room, and Mike actually like looks under the stall and sees like her feet are just like her severed feet are still like standing up, but they're severed.
One is standing up and the other is knocked over, which like, again, I kind of understand what happened, but here's my thing. Listen to me. So the killer, let me get this straight. The killer knows she's hiding behind this wall because she's, I'm guessing, hanging on to it, what have you. He chops her legs off and then he stabs her through the door so she's she's hanging on it, I'm guessing. Like, kind of like a Michael Myers stabbing through the door, and you know what I mean? And the body's just hanging there. So when they find her body, you just see the legs. Remember?
Who knows where the body went?
But if the body's still being suspended, that means the machete still has to be through the wall, which means the killer either has multiple machetes or he has just left his machete there. It's a poorly executed kill.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I think Mel is someone in this film who got done dirty. I think she had a pretty okay chase sequence, but I really don't know what happened to her. I know she got stabbed through a wall. I know her legs are now not attached. I don't know how because they didn't show it, but moving on.
And there's nothing in this film that hints that the killer like takes bodies and tries to hide them, right? Because basically all the other bodies are just left out in the open where they were killed. So you were very right. When Mike bent down to look under the stall, he should have saw her dead body, but he doesn't. He just sees the feet. So where did the body go?
Yeah. It's very confusing. I will say at this point, thank God the men have at least put shirts on. So they're very easy to identify because their shirts are very loud. Especially Mike, who's wearing a shirt that looks circa 1992 from like a New Kids on the Block music video. But it helps to at least know who you're talking about now because clothing is involved. I also do want to acknowledge there's a few scenes of dialogue, of arguing, like when they find Martin and they first accuse him of being the killer and he's like, what the fuck is going on? Because like Mike, I'm pretty sure Mike punches him. Even they're basically calling him out for being the killer and he's like, I have no idea what's going on. The echo of the environment adds a lot. It amplifies the tension and the suspense. Like there's a really heavy echo because they're in these big pools and, and the indoor pool sounds. And it really adds to like the suspense factor. I really like that.
Yeah. And they are getting into this territory where they're starting to accuse each other. Mm-hmm. But right away, like Mike brings up the fact that it could be Gregor because he's like, Gregor's the one that brought us here. Where's he at? And Sarah, and he's like trying to convince Sarah that it could be Gregor. And then Chris is like, yeah, that motherfucker. Where's he at? And like Sarah slaps him. And she's like, don't you ever talk about Gregor.
Very defensive of her boyfriend who was actually cheating on her.
Who doesn't give a shit
about her. We also, I do want to acknowledge when James McAvoy discovers the body of Mel, he vomits. And this is something now we've seen in several films that we've watched recently. The reaction of vomiting immediately upon the discovery of gore or, innards or what have you. A realistic reaction to something repulsive. But I don't know how much more puking I can handle. So many movies, people puke when they're disgusted. And it's making me sick to my stomach.
Well, Mike does say he needs to go get some fresh air, although where, Mike? Because you've just established that you're locked into this pool building. So where are you going for fresh air?
Yeah,
however,
the whole place smells like chlorine.
However, it does spark in Martin the idea of, wait, fresh air. So he thinks, oh, wow, air vents. So Martin, who is the only fucking character in this film that has a brain, is like, okay, so we can get out either through the air vents or the pool tunnel system. There's the pool system that's going to lead outside. But he's like, that's 100 yards long and nobody can hold their breath that long. Wah, wah, wah. Are we forgetting about poor Carmen in the scene earlier where what's her name was freaking out, finding her in the pool, trying to hold her breath?
You mean the scene where she was specifically proving how long she can hold her breath for? Yes, I remember.
And I love the fact that Carmen's like, I can do it. And he's like, no, you can't. And they just like dismiss her. They don't even he's like, oh, fuck you. You can't do it. You dumb.
Yeah.
But so they make a plan to get into the vents, and the vents are going to lead outside. So some arguing, blah, blah, blah. They all get into the vents, right? It's basically Martin gets in the vent, followed by Sarah, Carmen, and then Mike. And then Chris is like left there to his own devices. He's like, because they're like, well, you can't get in because nobody's going to be able to help you in. Although where the fuck is Raphael or Mario or whatever his name is? What's his name?
Well, didn't Diego go with... didn't he go with Gregor?
I don't fucking know. And then you get a scene with, okay, so Frank. Where the fuck has Frank been this whole time? Because all of a sudden we are cut to a scene of Frank like coming out of a bathroom stall after getting sick, and he hears a noise and he goes to investigate it, and then it cuts back to the group in the vent. They're crawling through the vent. Martin gets to the end, but he can't get the screw off of the vent thing, and all of a sudden, this is where this film pisses me off. All of a sudden, they're like, guys, what are we going to do? And Mike gets ready to say something. And all of a sudden he's like, and like blood splashes out of his mouth. And we see that Mike has been stabbed through his body with the machete. Through the vent.
Through the metal vent.
That is... Well, it's but it's where
implausible.
Yes, it's implausible. Where is this the killer cannot be under the whole ventilation system. Where is he at?
No. But he sure knows exactly where
he knows where they're at. There's apparently ample space underneath the vents for him just to stab up. I don't know. But
because he starts stabbing through the whole damn
it becomes
thing.
Like a Halloween 5 Jamie stuck in the air vent thing.
Yes, and it's like he's stabbing through paper.
Yeah, it goes very easily. But okay, look, can we just talk about Mike's character being done dirty here?
Oh, yes.
I mean, there is no build up to him being killed. He's basically dispatched within a matter of like 5 seconds, if that. Yeah. And it's a character that, like we mentioned, has been given a lot to do.
Yeah. He actually has been focused on and been given purpose. Like, even in the way they approached his character with Kim in the beginning of the movie, like, he kind of had his own separate story arc that seemed like they were following him for a reason. It kind of seemed like you're getting Sarah's story, and then meanwhile you're kind of getting Mike's story. And I really thought that it was going to come down to him as one of the final two.
Me too.
And it is disappointing because what they do here with this whole sequence... This movie likes to kill people off in twos. There's, I think, 3 separate kills where 2 people are dispatched together. The opening, the waterslide, and now with this, as we speed this along, they start, there's a whole sequence where they're crawling through the vents. Of course they are. They're trying to get through. The killer's stabbing through it, coming through it. Martin gets stabbed in the leg, I believe, or the arm. And so he has the girls go ahead. And he ends up getting killed right before he gets out. He gets stabbed in the torso. And he dies. And so that even takes away from Mike's kill even more because it's outshadowed. Mike is the Farrah Fawcett and Martin is the Michael Jackson. Like, they both died on the same day. Farrah Fawcett died just before Michael Jackson. We thus did not properly acknowledge Farrah Fawcett's death because Michael Jackson stole the thunder. And in this case, Mike is definitely the Farrah Fawcett. And it makes me mad because his character, I think, at the end of the day, was one of the most important ones in the movie.
And one of the most likable.
Yes.
And what kills me is that Sarah and Carmen act way more upset about the fact that Martin was killed than they do Mike.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bawling. And okay, Martin was I liked Martin, but
yeah.
Mike was done dirty. But you know what? He got the last laugh because it's James McAvoy, and like he's gone on to do way more popular things. Split.
Yeah. He's bigger than all of them. X-Men. He's done all of it.
Yeah. So you get it. James.
Even bigger than Isla fucking Fisher.
Oh yeah, being stabbed in a vent to go. Yeah. But I was like, ugh.
Yeah. I feel you. I definitely feel you on that for sure.
So the two girls get out of the vent. At the same time, the killer in his little and this is when you start to see this killer has a nice fucking body. Okay. And this tight little outfit he has on. Okay, daddy. I'm here for it. He is chasing him around in his little tight black jeans and tight leather shirt. Chases him through the stairwell. They kind of get a nice little scene where they hide behind a desk.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is when Carmen is like, the killer is Greg. You know that, don't you? Now she's trying to convince Sarah that the killer is Greg. It's like, what?
Well, Mike definitely planted that seed. And now Carmen... Here's the thing about Carmen that pisses me off. Is like Carmen very much tries to play with Sarah like, oh, I'm so sorry for everything I did wrong to you. Like because she eventually here she confesses to Sarah about having had an affair with Gregor. And she's like, oh, but I didn't want to. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Bitch. Not 20 minutes ago at the bottom of a pool were you trying to jack this guy off, and he's the one that declined. He said no. Not only
did they have sex, they had sex on Sarah's birthday, at her birthday party.
And Sarah, I'm sorry. Sarah should respond with more anger than she does.
And then what happens at the end?
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm like, Sarah, I hope you...
JoJo wrote a song about this. It's called Leave, Get Out right now.
She's going to end up with 12 kids and no husband cheating on her every fucking night.
Absolutely.
Dumb bitch.
We'll get to it. How we'll get to it.
Okay, so now we get back to... Okay, so please help me explain. So after this, we go back to Gregor shows up at the vent and there's like blood coming out of the vent. Like blood's apparently pooling out of all these vents. But now Raphael and Chris are there.
Okay, first of all, Raphael is not a character.
I have Raphael. Okay,
it's
Diego.
Go, Diego, go.
Diego. Okay, sorry, people. I got his name. It's Raphael. It is Raphael. You're right. I don't know why. No, it's Diego. God damn it. It's Diego. Okay, here goes all of our 1 stars on iTunes because I can't get this fucking guy's name.
Our next review is going to be like, very loose on facts. This review does not do a good job of naming characters.
I don't know why I wrote down Raphael, but I did. I swear to God. It's You were right. It is Diego. I looked on IMDb. It's Diego.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know my shit.
Sorry.
I know the pool. I went to school for the pool.
It's Diego. Diego punches Chris for some reason. And then Gregor shows up and he's like, I got to go through this vent to try to find everybody. I'm like, do you really though? Aren't there like hallways and doors that you can go through? Because you don't know that they're still in the vent. All you have to do is like call through the vent and be like, hey, Sarah, are you still in there? But he wants to get in that vent and he gets in that vent and goes. Meanwhile, what the fuck happens to Diego and Chris? This is the last time we see them.
I think that we honestly may have a situation here of maybe a cut scene or something omitted from like the final cut.
Because I'm
because
not
you
wrong.
don't even see.
You're
not wrong.
We don't see either of them get killed.
Yeah, because there's no body reveal.
And they're not at the end of the movie.
No, they're not.
So what the fuck happened to them?
That's what I'm saying. Is I wonder. I'm curious if there was maybe something filmed
did they just crawl in the
removed.
vent and stay there?
They let they stayed there and let Gregor go ahead. They had an axe, did they not? No, he took the axe.
They are living in the vent to this day, I bet.
Listen, and let me just say that vent. I'm claustrophobic. This is it. I don't like water. I don't like tight spaces. This is why I hate submarines. But I would have not been comfortable climbing in that vent. I would have just been like, just let him take me. Because there's no way my fat ass is going to be getting in that vent for anything. Just like Sarah won't be getting in that pool.
No. And I wouldn't have gotten the vent. You're a sitting duck in the vent.
Yeah.
Come on. So Sarah and Carmen are in this room upstairs, and somehow, apparently, Gregor comes out of the vent into this room where they're at, and and Sarah sees him, and she's like, get away from me, get away from. Now all of a sudden she's buying into the fact that he's a killer, even though this whole fucking movie, all she's done is defend him and tell him how much she loves him and is like slap people for saying anything bad about him. But now all of a sudden she sees him and she's like, you get away from me. And he's like, I'm just trying to help you. And she's like, you sliced and diced all your friends. I'm like, bitch.
You have nothing to go off of for this.
1 second you're loving this guy and you're defending him get out. Even in the fact where your friend's telling you she slept with him and you're like, oh, I still love him. You see him now and you're like, get away from me, you're a mass murderer. Yeah,
Sarah is very easily influenced. She is, again, not a strong final girl. She doesn't make her own, she doesn't call the shot, she doesn't make her own decisions. This whole sequence of what happens here is very Carmen driven for a moment. Because basically what happens is he's trying to convince Sarah that he's not the killer, and Carmen comes up behind him and knocks him out with like a metal vase or something. I don't know. She knocks him the fuck out like a lamp. She takes his axe and she like locks him in the room, which is smart call, Carmen. Okay. And then she's like, let's get the fuck out of here. And she's like sneaking Sarah through the building, trying to find a way to escape. So they obviously still suspect there could still be a killer, but because they're kind of creeping, you know?
It does not make any sense. Because then what happens is the cop shows up. This random cop that's been in the movie 2 other 30-second scenes shows up to the pool. Because we forgot to mention, somehow a couple scenes ago, he shows up at what I'm assuming was like Gregor's house or a big frat house and talks to some guy and says, hey, where's this party at? Finds out supposedly it could be at this brand new pool facility. So he shows up at this pool. There's no, again, there's no buildup. There's no suspense. He literally walks to the door and is stabbed right away.
I do like, though, before he's stabbed, he sees, like,
the reflection
blood.
And tries to
No, he sees blood, like, on the door, and he's like, I fucking hate my life. Yeah. Like, this guy, he's weathered, he is worn, he does not like his job, he does not like kids, but he is killed right away. And so all of that, what could be, like, potential, like, I don't know, development for who the killer really is and why he does what he does, it was a waste. Thus the killer is clearly not Gregor.
Exactly. And Sarah and Carmen see this. So now Sarah is trying to convince Carmen, basically tells Carmen that she has to swim through this pipe, that she can hold her breath. And Carmen's like, yeah, I can do it. So Carmen gets in the pipe, gets into this. Mm-hmm. What is it? It's like a
filtration pipe. Like the water, it like brings the water into the filtration system. And Sarah's like, kind of giving the speech to Carmen to like motivate her, and then she's like, I can't go with you because you know me in water. And it's like, bitch, you've come up with a lot of really lame excuses to get out of shit through the course of this movie. And this whole like problem with water, what do you have more of a problem with? Water or a man wielding a machete? Like, I would try something. Get the fuck out.
She doesn't want to. So she's in the tunnel. Carmen jumps in the tunnel and starts swimming. She gets stuck on this metal fencing and like, oh, it's gross. It like slices the shit out of her arm.
Ugh. And I do want to say before Carmen takes off, she gives a final like apology to Sarah, and I do not believe it one fucking bit. Carmen, go fuck yourself. You don't care. But she's like, I'm so sorry, Sarah. I never meant to hurt you. And then she takes off, and yeah, she gets sliced up in that, like, it's like a metal, like, folding kind of piece of
gate or grate or
yeah,
something.
it said she's gonna slip through, and it does. It like slices her all up. It is pretty gnarly, but she like pulls herself through it, and you see the water's all bloody. It's pretty rough.
But she does get out, but then the second she gets to crawl out of the vent system, she's outside the building, the fucking killer shows up and stabs her in the stomach.
And what's even worse is as she's getting out, she sees the only purpose for having Frumpy Cop in the movie. She sees him laying there dead with his gun, and she's like going to reach for it, and then of course, yes, the killer pops up, stabs her, and she falls back in the filtration water and apparently sinks to the bottom. We don't know because it's open-ended, of course. But
well, maybe, but because now the next scene is we're back in the pool, and it's pretty quick. This killer moves fast, right?
Oh, he does. It's because he's in such fitted, like, athletic wear. I mean, he can move quick.
He was literally just outside, but now he's back inside.
Yes.
How's he getting in and out is what I want. He has the keys, I guess, because they do say the keys are missing. But
yes.
He's back inside, and it's a pretty, I have to say, it's a pretty lackluster reveal.
Oh, my God.
It's
if anything I have an issue with in this movie, man, it is the killer is revealed to be Frank.
Yeah.
In a cast of like a bunch of men that you already dislike, Frank is one of like the least memorable.
Yep.
But if you like go back and recall, there were like a few moments of him like flirting with some of the girls, and it was really like not acknowledged as being like anything other than kind of just like a side moment. So when he's revealed to be the killer, his motivation is because of like the fact that none of the women responded to his advances. And I'm sorry, but it is in the history of slashers, I have to say this is one of the lamest and most chauvinistic motivations I've ever heard a killer have. It's so entitled. It doesn't, if this is the same guy that we're talking about earlier who is schizophrenic, fuck that nonsense. That's some bullshit. You better toss out the window, and this better be something completely different, not at all affiliated, because this guy's reasoning for being the killer is just selfish and stupid, and does not strike me as stemming from mental illness or anything other than just him being an entitled prick. And it is such a letdown. I was really wanting something with more heft to it.
It's very misogynistic, and there is no reveal. Like we don't get an unmasking. We don't get any of that. Like if you think about some of the great like slasher killer reveals in slasher films that are trying to be whodunits, you know, you generally get this really awesome reveal of who the killer is. That doesn't happen here. It basically, after he stabs Carmen, you cut back to Sarah, and she sees Frank basically in his tight. We have to say he looks good in those tight pants, but he walks in his tight pants. The mask is off. There's no unmasking. He already has the mask off.
He's silhouetted at first. He's in the shadows, and you hear her talking to him, so you don't see he's in the same outfit. But he's talking in a way that's so obvious. Like his tone is really
she even says
suspicious.
She says Frank. She's like, Frank, is that you? And he's like, yeah. And yeah, there's no reveal at all. And yeah, his motive is women are cruel, and they treat him like shit. So he's gonna kill everybody. He puts the mask back on, and we get Greg, who is locked up in this room, like sees what's happening, and he's trying to bust the window out. And
for like 10 minutes, he is so determined to bust through this window. This whole length of this speech, you just hear him in the background banging on this glass with like a metal, with like an extinguisher, and it's just like over and over and over. And Frank even turns to him, and he's like, "Good luck, Gregor. It's like impenetrable glass." But he keeps doing it. Finally he busts through after like literally like.
Finally it does break, but it does distract Frank enough for Sarah to kick him in the balls. and they get a kind of a running start away from him. And then there is this cool scene right as Greg busts through the glass. Frank's trying to get to Sarah, and she is just like frantically throwing all of these booze bottles at him, just one after another, and he's covered in booze, and he's trying to stab her through the bar top. And the machete's like coming through the bar top, almost stabbing her, and she's hurling these booze bottles at her. It is pretty cool. And at the same time, Greg like jumps through the window into the pool, and Sarah, gotta say, it was smart. She knew what she was doing with the booze, covering him with booze. She lights Frank on fire, and he basically. Smart on one hand, done on the other, because why are you lighting someone on fire right next to a pool when you know they're just going to jump in? And he does. He jumps in the pool. There's this struggle between him and Greg in the water, and you can see him. He gets a few good slices at Greg. And, of course, Sarah, who has been a whiny bitch about water this whole time, musters up the courage. Because the love of her life, Gregor, who has treated her like nothing but shit, is getting, his ass beat. She jumps into the pool with a broken beer bottle and what has to be the most laughable, like slow motion jump I've ever seen in my life. Like they do her jump in slow motion, but it's like the most awkward.
She like splashes into the water.
Yeah, it's not even cool looking. She like belly flops into the water. She swims out there and she starts stabbing the shit out of Frank in the neck with this broken beer bottle.
Yeah, when she's running up the steps, he does manage to stab her in the leg, and she's like dragging herself. She is injured. So by the time he gets to her at the top of in the bar area before she sets him on fire, he's like really coming at her, and she's crawling through glass. It's pretty hard to watch, actually, just because she's like running barefoot through all of this broken glass, and you're hearing it, and it is pretty like, ugh, it makes your skin kind of crawl. So when she grabs the bottle and jumps in, there is kind of a moment where you're like, okay, girl, thank you for finally like stepping up to the plate. Because her last few minutes as a final girl, she does kick it up a notch, she's definitely not, she's not, it's not like we're watching You're Next and getting an amazing badass broad who's just here to like kick ass and take names. But for being a fragile character, because she's been pretty like blasé, at least at the end of it, she she kind of does whatever she's fucking got to do to survive. And when she jumps in the water and she grabs that like bottle and she starts stabbing him, and she's kind of just like, she's just stabbing him wildly, and she does manage to like get him off of Gregor, and he's immobilized for a minute.
Yeah, so she is able to, well, and it just sucks that she's doing it because of Gregor, who is an asshole, but she does get Gregor away from, she does get him away. And right as she's like pulling Gregor to safety out of the water, Frank pops back up.
Of course,
comes back out of the water, but is immediately shot by Carmen. She's not dead after all. Yay.
Because of course not, because there's no way they're going to waste that moment where she finds that gun and not put it to use, I knew it was coming. Like, it was only a matter of time. You didn't see her die,
Carmen saves the day.
Yeah.
Although she's really badly injured, obviously. She's been stabbed with a machete in the stomach, but she does save the day. And the film basically ends with Carmen being wheeled out and Sarah telling Gregor for the 20th time in the film that she loves him. I love you. But if you ever cheat on me again, I'm going to kill you. And then the late 90s boy band music starts to play and the film ends.
Yeah. And I mean, this whole final moment between her and Gregor where she basically like forgives him. He's like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, I know. Like, I'd be like, listen, fucker, did you help save my life today? Yes. But did that also play into the fact that you were trying to survive yourself? I'm sure. Well, because you're a selfish piece of shit.
Exactly. How many times did he leave her in this film? Like Like we talked about, he disappears through huge chunks of this film. He just leaves her. He's like, "Oh, you stay here. I'll be back." Knowing that damn well there's a killer killing all your friends, and you're just going to leave your girlfriend. And again, not once does he say "I love you" back to her. She says it like 20 times in this film, and he never once says "I love you" back. But whatever. The film ends, and it's entertaining as fuck.
Yeah.
Does it have problems? Yes. Does it maybe sound like I disliked it more than what I did? Yeah. I enjoyed this film. I really do. It's a lot of fun. But again, if you can't look at, some of the flaws of a film as fun as it is, I mean,
if this is a middle of the road standard slasher fodder, are there better? Yes. Are there worse? Yes. It's not groundbreaking. Like we said in the beginning of this, it's not anything groundbreaking. It didn't reinvent the wheel, but what it did well in the sense of entertainment value, and there are some really fun kills in it. There are some fun characters in it that I like to hate.
I feel like it is one of the probably, in all the post-Scream slashers, especially like the early 2000 slashers, this probably is one of the standouts just because the location and the death scenes. There are better, there are ones that have better characters, maybe better plot development, but this one is so much fun. I will say what I do really like about this film is that a lot of these post-Scream slasher films tried to copy the like self-referential tone of Scream, where they're like, "Oh, wink, wink, we're a slasher movie. Wink, wink, we don't want to take ourselves too seriously. Wink, wink, we know what we are." Where this film did not go that route. This film is pretty much a straight up slasher flick. There are no self-referential tone. There's not a self-referential tone to it. There's no like underlying comedic elements. It's a slasher film. It's a group of kids being picked off by a killer. It's straight up slasher film, and I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. I'm really happy I watched it. I found it very entertaining. It's not something that I'd be putting down in the record books as one of my favorite films of all time, but can I see myself busting this out for a group of friends who like the genre and, trying to introduce people to something new? Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really fun movie. I definitely think there's probably a lot of people who love this movie, but I also think there's fans of the genre who probably have no idea about this movie. And I think that, especially like we said at the beginning, having some of these more like well-known actors affiliated with it, appearing in this movie at the beginning of their careers, that's really cool to see. So there's several reasons to visit or revisit this movie. And it doesn't skimp on the entertainment value. While it may be nonsensical at times and it may not have the strongest script, it makes up for it with, location and overall execution of its kills and just sheer fun factor. It's a fun movie to watch. I never got bored.
It's a fun popcorn flick. Just sit back, pop your Jiffy Pop, and just have fun. It's brainless fun. It's not, like we said, it's not reinventing any wheel. It's not reinventing the slasher genre. But what it's doing is it's doing very well, minus the few flaws that we pointed out. It's still a film that I will definitely revisit it. I like to watch this film, every once in a while, to fulfill my kind of slasher, lust. This is a good one.
Yeah.
And it needs a Blu-ray. Where's the Blu-ray, people?
Yeah. And give me some extended scenes so we know what the fuck happened to Chris and Diego. Because I'm sorry, as we need to acknowledge one more time, after you see them left in that room, when Gregor goes up through the vent, you never see them again. And I need an explanation. I need to know why.
Yeah, I wonder if it was a cut scene or what.
Yeah, because if that is a cut scene, that would really add to the pacing issues of the end.
Because as it is, it just seems like it was lazy.
Yeah, it seems very lazy.
Like, oh shit, we have these two characters we don't know what to do with, and we don't have the budget to kill them off. Let's just forget they were ever in the film.
Because that means technically 5 people survive, and as we talked about in a cast, a very like high volume cast, a lot of heads to count. That head count could either been a lot higher, or you could have skimmed a few of these people out, and we wouldn't have even felt it.
Well, I feel like maybe the filmmakers thought that because there were so many characters that we wouldn't really notice that Diego and Chris just
Oh, well, we
disappeared.
noticed because we loved those
I noticed.
characters.
Yeah, even though they had very little to do.
I'll never
Even
forget
though I
Diego. And
Even though I kept calling one Raphael.
I was gonna say,
I still love
where's
him.
Raphael in all of this? Did he make it? I need to know. But yeah, no, good call. And I gotta say, Troy,
That was the pool. So, Roger, you have our next pick, right?
I know there's one thing you like as a teacher and a librarian, and it's themes. We've talked about this. It tickles your pickle. So I decided that I was going to stick with a real specific theme, which is early 2000s international slashers with heavy water themes that feature casts with heavy accents. And this movie is a little known supernatural slasher from 2005 called The Nun. Or, if we are talking in Spanish, because it is a Spanish film, though it's English language, it is a Spanish directed film, La Monja, which was directed by Luis de la Madrid, and it is a weird movie. It is very strange, but I don't think a lot of people will have seen this movie. And again, is it one of the best movies ever made? No. Is it very entertaining? I think so. And there's a lot of similarities.
I feel like I've seen this, but it's been forever. I probably saw it when it came out and never saw it again because it sounds familiar. So, folks, let's clarify. This is not The Nun that just came out with
God, no.
Tessa
Vera Farmiga.
This is a 2005
slasher.
2005 slasher.
Well, supernatural slasher.
Yeah, so if you want to check it out, because it's one that I'm assuming a lot of people haven't heard of or haven't seen. Check it out because it is available on Amazon to rent to watch, and give it a watch before next week because we don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it.
No, Troy, I think you and I are going to have. I mean, we always have fun talking about these, but this movie's got a few things about it that I think you and I are just going to lovingly destroy, but with a smile on both of our faces. So it's going to be a good time. And listeners, I think it's going to be a good time for you too. So watch The Nun. It's actually one of the earlier films I remember watching that really got me into wanting to make cinema. As a filmmaker, this movie was really strangely influential for me. When it came out, I bought it on DVD around the time it was released, and I still have that DVD to this day. And I don't know, there's something about this movie that just creeps the shit out of me, even though it is kind of absurd. Let's see if it holds up, though, because who knows? Maybe I'll come back and revisit it and have completely different feelings on the matter. Time will only tell. But yeah, until that next review, Troy, I think there's one other thing that we should really touch on for our listeners before we bid them adieu, and it's kind of an exciting new chapter for you and I and Dark Knight of the Podcast.
It is, and we basically, let's just put it out there. It's a podcast, and basically a lot of podcasts are doing this. So we are kind of jumping on board and doing it just to see, how much support we can get and what, other content we can offer our listeners if they want it. We will always do a weekly episode. We always do that. We try to put them out on a consistent basis. It's been a little, rocky these last couple of weeks because of me moving cross country, but now I'm back. I'm settled. So we're going to get back into our weekly routine. But we have decided, like many other podcasts, to launch a Patreon page, which will be coming in a couple of weeks. And we did it for a couple reasons. We're doing it for a couple reasons. A, we feel like it's going to hold us accountable to keep putting content out. We love doing this. So we want to kind of hold ourselves accountable for getting content out. B, we want to put extra content out. We really do. We have great ideas for like bonus episodes for our patrons that subscribe that go beyond just like picking one film and talking about it. We have lots of different ideas for extra bonus content that go beyond just focusing on one horror movie. We'll kind of touch base on what some of those ideas are, but I think you'll really enjoy the extra bonus content we kind of talked about doing, and C, you know, it's going to be something that's very minimal in terms of, you know, the cost, our patron levels. You know, doing this takes time. You know, it does take, you know, some finances, nothing major, but we want to keep doing it. We want to keep doing it. So we figure this is a really good way to kind of allow us to keep doing it. And again, hold us accountable for putting content out and interacting with our fans that really enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah. And I think aside from wanting to keep doing it, I think we also want to keep improving upon our craft and like what we're doing. I mean, there's plenty of people out there with podcasts in general, not just being another gay duo tackling the horror genre, because there's plenty of really hilarious or entertaining queers who are doing similar to what we're doing. But I know that you feel the same way as me on this. I want to keep creating content that is entertaining, because of how we do it and why we do it, and our approach to it is different and the reasons it's different. And I do think that this challenges us to also keep looking for new and exciting ways to expand upon what it is that we're doing. Because as you mentioned, you know, we have more and more people listening to it as we've had more guests and more reasons to promote. Our numbers have increased, and we're super thankful to all of you who are listening. And so we just want to be able to bring you more and ensure that you guys are sufficiently entertained. And in turn, you know, make sure that we have the best equipment to provide that, and make sure that we have the means to expand upon that, and eventually make sure that we can appear at the conventions and show up and be there with you guys and celebrate with you our favorite genre, because we know that you guys feel the same way we do about the horror genre, and we really are diehards about the horror genre. And this is fun because we're talking about films that we really feel strongly about, whether we destroy them or we raise them up lovingly. You know, these films, we're passionate about the genre, and we know all of our listeners are the same way, or else they wouldn't be listening to begin with. So yeah, I'm super excited to launch that. I think it's going to be a really fun new chapter for us, and there's a lot of really cool things that Troy and I have in the works that, like, when we get a little bit closer, we'll definitely be announcing it, and I think that it will give people good reason to want to support us, because it will be a lot of fresh new material and different from what it is we're already giving you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So just keep your ears peeled in the next couple of weeks for that and the launch date and all that stuff. And we hope that you'll consider supporting it. But like I said, we're always going to put out a weekly episode, so you don't have to worry about that. That'll always be out. So, but this is just something a little bit extra for the people who kind of want to hear us talk more than 4 times a month about film or about anything that we decide to talk about. It'll always be horror related. We're not going to like all of a sudden switch it up, and I think that would be a little, We
I don't care about other genres enough.
I really don't either.
That much about it, but
not enough to devote an episode about. I mean, I'm trying to think of a movie that I would want to talk about.
Right. And I will say that if we didn't set a time limit for these, I could talk about these movies probably an extra 2 hours, really getting in deep. So sometimes we have to fast forward ourselves through it, because Troy and I really do care a lot about these films. So we appreciate you guys for supporting us this far. It's only going to get better, and more exciting, and more to come. The next of which being The Nun.
2005, The Nun. So please make sure you're watching the right one. Please don't tune in thinking we're talking about the...
If you show up here with fucking Vera Farmiga's movie, or no, it's Tiesa Farmiga's movie, they're one and the same in my mind. I'm sorry. If you show up here with that bullshit, get out. You're not welcome to the party.
No. So yeah, that's it. We've talked 2 hours about the pool. So we are going
to thought?
You know what? Go, guys, to kind of cleanse your palates from us, go jump in a damn pool. Go down a water slide.
While you still can, while the weather's still accommodating.
Yep. But thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Remember, Apple, go give us a rating.
Show us some love. And until next week with La Manja, The Nun, goodbye.